Hi there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Really appreciate you being here. So I posted a gummy bear video the other day and my goodness, that has done well. I guess as far as YouTube standards, it's not like amazing. In the past 6 days, it's gotten like 1,500 views as of time of recording, but most of my videos get like, well, also time of recording, get somewhere between like 12 to 35 views per video. So 1,500 is kind of a lot for me. I'm excited. So if you're a new subscriber, welcome to the channel. Really appreciate you being here. So it's actually got me thinking a little bit. I might start incorporating eating hot sauce as part of my videos because I like it. I have a lot of different hot sauces that are crazy hot. Plus it'd be entertaining. Watch me suffer through trying to talk about some kind of politic something, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so it could be fun. Spicy politics, spicy finances, whatever. So anyway, as far as this video goes, it's kind of a conglomeration of a few different things I've been seeing, kind of picking up the past few months that I've been really studying more and more about, you know, politics, economy, whatnot. Number one concern about politics right now is the economy. So kind of checks out that's something I should probably get into as well. But anyway, yeah, so I was watching a video that came out today from Breaking Points. Krystal Ball, during her monologue, if you're not familiar, Breaking Points is a, I think, very independent, like middle of the road news channel. It's a YouTube channel. Highly recommend it. They do a really good job of being very bipartisan, accurately, I would say. But anyway, so Krystal Ball, she was giving a monologue and it was pretty shocking. Let's get into it. By the way, the link for this is in the description below the video. So if you want to go watch the full version yourself, recommend it. Check it out.
New text messages reveal how the former governor of Mississippi plotted to steal millions from the poor in order to build a fancy volleyball stadium for Brett Favre's daughter. That is not an exaggeration. That is literally what is alleged to have happened. And it is backed up now by newly revealed text messages and court filings. And to make matters worse, the current governor is trying to cover up the truth. What I am about to tell you is so outrageous, corrupt, and disgusting that I can scarcely wrap my head around it. It is the most perfect example of socialism for the rich, rugged individualism for the poor that I have ever seen. So, in the nation's poorest state, the welfare fund was plundered to give goodies to a rich NFL superstar, political elites, and their cronies. Buckle your seatbelts, folks. First.
All right, so there's quite a bit more to this. She does a great job of breaking down all the details and what's going on. If you're unaware of where this is at, this is in Mississippi. If you're not familiar with what's going on in Mississippi, there's this place called Jacksonville, Mississippi, which is the capital of the state. They don't have water right now. Let me show you a quick little tidbit. Yeah, here we go. So let me just play this for you. This is part of the same video near the end.
Have drinkable water. So, millions for a volleyball stadium, salaries, investments in well-connected companies, and no-show speech contracts for a rich NFL star. And this is what is coming out of the faucets of their residence.
So, yeah, not a great look, to say the least. So, anyway, yeah, it's bad. So, this, unfortunately, is not unique from what I understand. Just a little add tidbit. I think Krystal Ball was talking about how the current governor was trying to cover up this whole deal. In fact, one of the text messages going back and forth is the media is not going to be able to find out about this transaction, are they? So, and the current governor is trying to cover up this whole story. So, interesting stuff. Here where I'm at in Carmel, Indiana, there are a number of people who are not particularly happy with our current mayor because of doing seemingly similar stuff. So he will put in for construction bids and go millions, multiple millions of dollars way over budget. So when it comes to like a small town, millions over budget is kind of a lot. This isn't a gubernatorial, this isn't the whole state, this is just Carmel, Indiana, which is right above Indianapolis. It's like a subsector of Indianapolis. So anyway, That's a bit much. Also, he seems to have a lot of friends in, allegedly, allegedly all of this is, this is just hearsay. But a bunch of his friends are in construction, and he's overbidding these huge contracts to these other construction companies. And he's been getting denied by the board, and he's like, nope, screw you, forget it, and pushes it through anyway. And it's something he's been doing for the past few years. Admittedly, he did bring Carmel to being one of the top, I think it was top 10 most desirable places to live in North America, or in America, United States of America. Gosh, sorry, it's been a long day. So anyway, so to his credit, that's been good. That was in the early 2000s. Carmel has gotten to be a really, really nice place to live. But it seems like lately he's kind of gotten comfortable, if you know what I mean. So I also had the opportunity to meet with a guy who's very familiar with a lot of Indiana politics. And he was saying, like, hey, when he grew up, his whole family was into it. And the kind of dirty stuff that goes on is just commonplace. It's basically like another mafia. So anyway, it's pretty discouraging. The biggest thing is that it goes on and persists because nobody ever catches him. Like, who's going to do what to him? I know Governor Holcomb, he tried calling the police on a couple friends of mine that go to my church because they were quietly protesting out in front of a building that he was in, and he called into the police officers that were standing outside watching the protest, and they weren't even shouting anything. They weren't even in the way. They were just in front of the building, and he was screaming at these police officers to have them arrested. And the cops were like, we can't do that, sir. So anyway, just some interesting stuff. But I got some more treats for you. Hang on. You'll like this. By like, I mean you'll definitely not like this. So that's just some local politics type stuff. But if you want to see what's going on the more federal level, this is Matt Khors. He's another YouTuber that I like to follow quite a bit as part of the Ape Gang. If you haven't picked up on my thumbnails by now, I'm wearing an AMC hat. I am part of the Ape family. I own 2,500 shares of AMC stock. So anyway, I do like to see what he has to say about stuff. But anyway, in today's video, which I've also linked in the description below, he's basically having a very controlled mental breakdown on camera, and understandably so. He prefaced with him like freaking out and getting super rage angry, and I was like, okay, he's being, whatever. Then I watched the whole full video, and it's like, and I was getting like ragey with my monitor trying to watch this video, and it's like, dude, I totally get it. So basically, to catch you up to speed, back in January, there was a big Stock Act revision that was taking place. Back in 2012, the Stock Act was passed because there was a lot of presumed corruption going on in Congress. I know. Hold your gasp and your shock and dismay. That's the thing that happened. So anyway, to address all of this kind of stuff, this act was passed an overwhelming margin, basically saying if you are going to purchase a stock, you have to reveal the stock that you're purchasing within 90 days of purchasing or trading the stock. If you fail to disclose this information 45 days afterwards, then you will pay a $200 fine. That's correct, ladies and gentlemen. You can do a multi-million-dollar inside trade, and if you just simply don't mention it within 135 days, you might get fined $200. And this wasn't written in like the 1850s when 200 was a lot. This was written in 2012. This is modern day money. So anyway, when questioned about all of this, in an interview, Nancy Pelosi had some interesting things to say. So I'll go ahead and skip to the part of the video where she gives her little talk.
Yes,
Speaker, the stock trade ban legislation, it's uniquely...
We're Carvana, the
Oh my
company
gosh.
who invented
This is
car vending
annoying.
machines and buying a car
Sorry,
100%
I haven't bought
online.
premium. Can't justify the purchase.
Bipartisan support, but we've been talking about this since February. Why has it taken 8 months? And given the fact that the media, including most recently the New York Times, launched an investigation citing 97 lawmakers in potential violation, with many of them failing to report under the Stock Act, should there be greater penalties in the legislation that you do put forward for people to be found in violation?
Yeah, I'm not big on the New York Times and their investigations, but if that's what you're premises. Here's the thing. Members have been working.
Of course, she's not big on it because they're exposing a lot of this dirt. So the real kicker is a lot of the things that like New York Times and Unusual Whales, by the way, it's Unusual Whales that really spearheaded this whole investigation back in, I believe it was February, the interviewer mentioned. Unusual Whales put out a tweet in January saying, red alert, we've done, here, I'll just show you the tweet. So members of Congress that beat the SPY, which is the S&P 500, which is basically a barometer for the entire stock market in general as a whole. Anyway, they put this report out. I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorry, getting a little too excited. Let's see. But anyway, yeah, of course she wouldn't like what the New York Times has to say in their investigative report because it makes them look bad. All of it's public knowledge, but nobody points it out. Anyway, continue, Speaker of the House.
On this, just because somebody introduces a bill doesn't mean it becomes the law of the land. There's been discussion about it, and just recently this morning, actually, the committee, we've been going back and forth, and they were refining things and talking to members about what they think will work, and we believe we have a product that we can bring to the floor this month. Exciting.
Congressional staff?
Well, you know what? When the bill comes out, you'll see what it is, and those are some of the discussions that go back and forth. But I'm pleased with it. It's very strong, but again,
it's very strong, according to her. She recently did, I think it was a $5 million. Her husband did a $5 million trade just before the CHIPS Act was passed, and he did it with NVIDIA, and they recently closed their position after making a tidy little profit. So, anyway,
in order, just because, what did they say, they have 60, that's not even a quarter of what we need, a third of what we need to pass a bill, regardless of how bipartisan it is. The fact is, the ethics, the Committee of Jurisdiction is the House Administration Committee. They have to make sure they're in sync with the Ethics Committee and this or that, and that's called legislating.
So,
oh my gosh. All right. That's called legislating. Oh, geez, she's just so smug. Anyway, that's called legislating. So anyway, she's talking about how, so the interviewer initially was like, yeah, this is a very popular bill, it's bipartisan, whatnot. Nancy Pelosi's rebuttaling with, well, only 60 votes have come in, and that's like less than a third of what we need to pass it into law. So basically like snubbing her nose at it. So anyway, what's going to come out is basically a paper tiger. It had to be something similar to what happened and what came out in 2012, that Stock Act. So that's basically going to be a giant nothing burger. So nothing really here, nothing really changed, nothing different. The real kicker about all of this is that the only people that hold Congress accountable is Congress. Congress is the only one that can pass the laws to make sure that Congress isn't doing anything shady. Of course, they're not going to do that. So to show you a little bit what I'm talking about, I need to share my screen again. So to show a little bit what I'm talking about, Unusual Whales came out with this tweet back in January showing, basically they compiled all the numbers to show who outperformed the S&P 500 or the SPY, basically the whole stock market, and by what margin. If you look at the very bottom of the tweet, the gray bar is the SPY, basically the stock market in whole. There are gigantic hedge funds that devote their entire existence to outperforming the SPY, yet there are these members of Congress that have outpaced the S&P 500 or the stock market by a pretty good degree. So are these guys some like crazy financial wizards and just come out with these amazing trades, or is there something sketchy going on here? So anyway, feel free to, I don't know if you're watching this later on down the road, take a pause in the video, see if you recognize any of your members of Congress in that area. I see Victoria Spartz is on that list. She's in my district for Indiana. I actually showed up to the midterms to vote, or the primaries. I showed up to the midterm primaries specifically to vote against her, and even registered Republican and everything. I put on my red hat, pretend like that's what I was. By the way, if you're not familiar, I'm very nonpartisan. I hate the two-party system passionately. And when it comes to primary elections, I think it's absurd that you have to choose a side and you don't get to pick like which candidates you would rather vote for. But different topic, different time. Anyway, so I intentionally wanted to vote against Victoria Spartz. I will run for a potato if that's on the ballot instead of her, and she was the only choice. She was uncontested. I've met with people who know her family, that they rent property from her family up in Noblesville, and apparently they run their properties like slumlords. They have all kinds of problems and issues. They never get fixed, and they just have all these houses all over the countryside and just don't do anything. Charge crazy high rent for them. So anyway, not particularly pleased with her, but whatever. That is the way the political cookie crumbles. So also, if you're not familiar, I'm planning on running for office to make a concerted effort to fix this kind of stuff. If nobody else is going to do it, if you don't see the change taking place that you want to see, be the change. So that's my intention. That's the whole reason I'm doing this YouTube thing in general, is to get the message out. So as far as what do we do about this, instead of so you just heard a great big long like griping fest, but what my plan is I intend to have 3 bills that go into pass. The third one is going to be the ACB, or the Anti-Corruption Bill, which will form the Anti-Corruption Bureau. Basically, it will take members of the IRS, auditors, and instead of auditing individuals or companies, it will audit politicians, especially on the local level. But tied in with that ACB, the Anti-Corruption Bill, I want to have a stock market ban, just outright ban. If you serve in Congress, if you serve any political board, you are not allowed to trade stocks until 2 years after you have left office. So your job, your number one job, is to be a public servant, to serve the public. If you are serving yourself with insider trading information and cannot hold yourself accountable, you don't get to play the game anymore. This also applies to anyone within your household, any spouses, any children. By the way, that's already in effect. That passed in 1978, but nobody seems to care about that. Nancy Pelosi's husband is making all these gigantic multi-million-dollar swing trades, options trades, and it was classified as kind of icky, but technically legal. So nothing happened about it. So anyway, for change to take place, there needs to be some kind of aggressive shift in that. So anyway, this one went kind of long, so if you bore with me through the whole thing, I hope it was not a bore to you. Hopefully kept it interesting enough. But hey, I really appreciate you sticking around to the end. Please, if you like this video, give it a like. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe. You'll get to see more of my little face and all the random crap tidbits that fall out of my head onto camera for your enjoyment. So anyway, just a reminder, I do a live stream every Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. So if you want to jump into the chat and interact with me directly, that would be awesome. Be great to have you. So that's all I've got for now. So in the meantime, stay classy.